Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the OCVarsity Gridiron Show, Week 10. And for the occasion, of course, I am prepared. It's Week 10, so I do have my envelope here, if it will show up on my background screen. I don't know if it's showing up, or I have my coin. Trust me when I say I have my envelope and my coin, because, Mr. Fryer, this time of year, it's the coin flips that come into play with these
Oh,
some of these league races. In the Trinity
mm.
League, they don't do a coin, they use an envelope. So I am prepared. How are you feeling about this exciting Week 10? There's a lot to be determined with automatic playoff berths, wild scenarios for at-larges. Tons going on.
Too confusing, Dan. That's the way I look at it. We know that, with a lot of games that we're going to be talking about, it's a win you're in thing. And then if you lose, are you going to get in? Is there going to be enough room in your division for an at-large team? There's automatic qualifiers, as folks may know. If you're in the top three finishers in 5 and 6 and et cetera team leagues, you get in. If you're a top 2 in a 4-team league, like South Coast, Seaview, Crestview, North Hills, you get in. If you're finished out of that, you can apply for a large berth consideration. It helps if you're 500 or better. It doesn't lock you out if you're 4 and 6. But if you're 5 and 5 or 6 and 4, and you're trying to get a large berth, which is, in pro sports, we call it a wild card, then you got a shot, but you got a better shot. But, there may be some pretty good teams that are not going to get in the playoffs. And that's always a bummer.
Yes. All right. Well, let's jump into these predictions this week. I'm coming off a winning week against you, Mr. Fryer, a rare one for me. I correctly picked Laguna Beach to beat Westminster. That was the game that we disagreed on. Breakers got a big W. So it's a couple of really big games on Thursday night for automatic playoff berths. Let's start in the North. Let's start in the Empire League. This is a great place to start. Cypress 9-0, Crean Lutheran 9-0, both 4-0 in the league. And look at this remarkable turnaround season for the Saints. They were 1-9 last season. Like we said, they're 9-0 now. They're playing this game in their on campus. They kind of have a new on campus stadium, and they're going to have about 1,400 packed crowd. It's going to be a tough ticket to get, so you fans should probably go on to GoFan if they haven't already and get their tickets. But I talked to Cypress coach Rick Feldman, asked him, hey, how good are the Saints? I see they're ranked 25 in the county this week. I did not vote them there. They are there. They're undefeated, and he says they're well coached. He mentions that Ty Benefield is a beast. He mentions that Gavin Rogers is a really good quarterback, but I'm not so sure about the Saints quite yet. Their best win is probably against Laguna Beach. That's their best win of the season. We know Cypress has played a tougher schedule. They're ranked much higher in Orange County. What's your thoughts on this game? Who are you picking?
Well, I got to go with Cypress. I think this is the best team that Coach Rick Feldman has had at Cypress. He's had some good ones, yes, but this team is a little more on the physical side of things. And by that, I mean, on defense, they get after it. They are pretty ferocious. Offensive line is really good as well. Trevor Montioloni is one of the better two-way players as a receiver and safety. Matt Morrell catches everything, and he's got big-time breakout speed. And quarterback Aiden Houston runs it well, throws it well. I just think they're probably a little too physical and fast on defense for Crean Lutheran. Good for Crean Lutheran to get to this game. Big growth in that program, but Cypress seems to be a notch or two or more above Crean Lutheran at this point.
Yes, I'm also picking Cypress win the Empire League title. Again, hats off. Tip of the hat. Coach Rich Curtis doing a great job at Crean Lutheran. What a turnaround! Even in the COVID season, they were 1-4. So remarkable turnaround. Coming off a very close win over Tustin last week. He's sticking with the Thursday games. Can't do much better here. The North Hills League has been entertaining as heck all year.
Yeah.
And here you got another game, automatic playoff berth on the line. Looks like the number 2 spot that 4-team league. El Dorado taking on Canyon. Both teams 1-1 in league. Both teams, I believe, are they're both 2 losses, both 7-2 overall.
Yes.
So very interesting game because you got El Dorado likes to be physical at the ground attack. I got Isaiah Quintero. They do have another running back, Soria, who's very good. He has been
Diego
out.
Soria.
He's been out the last couple of weeks. Coach Zach Lamonda said they hoped for him to be back for the playoffs. Positive thinking there by the Golden Hawks because there's no guarantees. Coach Lamonda has been reminding his players this week about the postseason. For both these teams, they're looking for the guaranteed spot. So you got the physicalness of El Dorado. You got the aerial attack by Christian Lunsberg, the quarterback at Canyon, and a really good array of receivers. So you wonder if Canyon see the blueprint that Modena showed against El Dorado, how to play that physical style. Can they replicate that? El Dorado's got some things to work on special teams. Canyon's got some things to work on in defense. Who the heck do you have in this game, Fryer?
I got to go with Canyon in this one. El Dorado, I saw them play against El Modena. They tried to get that running game going, but El Modena, their defense is so good. They shut down a lot of people. On the Canyon side of things, I just think that passing attack is too varied and too explosive. Lunsberg is really good. And boy, they just, he's got, Fox Haugen, Matt Monfred, the guy that I really like over there.
Yeah.
Colin Chu is really good as well.
Yeah.
And their defense is pretty good. They got the linebacker Troy Mills, right? Yep. And, right? Pretty good,
yes,
pretty good football all over the place. But I like Canyon in this game. Gosh, I hope that, I hope El Dorado gets a shot because if they're in division, I don't know, what division are they going, Dan? 8, 9, something like that, perhaps?
No, they'll be higher than that.
I think 6, 5.
Coach Lamonda said they could be maybe 5.
Yeah. I think they'll be really good in whatever division they're going to get into because they coming out of that North Hills League, they're going to be tested pretty well. But I like Canyon in this game. And Canyon, teams that throw the ball get a big advantage in high school football. I mean, pretty much, 20 years ago, that was for sure. Maybe a little bit less now because you see so many passing teams these days. But I think Canyon's passing attack is a little much, hard to game plan for, and I like Canyon.
Okay. I'm picking El Dorado to win that very close game. I'm sure it's going to be a very challenging game for both. I think it's going to go deep into the fourth quarter. Both teams are going to have to play complete games. I think about with El Dorado is this, that you don't have to do this back-to-back situation against powerhouses like Canyon. I think it's tough for Canyon to play El Modena and El Dorado back-to-back. And I think El Dorado, despite the loss of one of their running backs, they played Esperanza last week, and I don't think they'll be as mentally or physically fatigued coming into this Week 10 matchup as maybe Canyon will come back-to-back. Certainly hope both teams make the playoffs because they're certainly worthy of it.
Yeah. So, one thing about that game, El Dorado's got to clean up some special teams issues that I saw.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, and I think they are definitely aware of that. Really showed against El Modena.
They better be.
Yeah. Also with Thursday night, a lot of good Thursday night action going on. Villa Park in the Crestview League taking on its rival Foothill. These teams are got one of the more storied rivalries in Orange County football.
Oh, yeah.
Athletics. Villa Park, Foothill, very hot rivalry. And here they are fighting for the automatic playoff berth. Number 2 spot looks like in the Crestview. Of course, Yorba Linda, 9-0 undefeated team in first place. So this one's a tough one to call because both teams are 4-5 overall. Both of them are 1-2. Both of them are 1-1 in league. So, and then you look at the last 5 games. Villa Park has been slightly playing a little bit better. They won 2 of their last 5. Foothill has won 1 of their last 5. Aaron Mitchell running the rock pretty well for Foothill. This is a tough one to call. I don't, Villa Park likes to run the ball too. Who you got in this one?
I got to go with Villa Park in this game. I saw them play Canyon, and they scored 56 points on Canyon. Wow. Gave up 40 points, but scoring 56 points on Canyon was pretty good. they lost to Yorba Linda. Everybody's going to lose to Yorba Linda in that Century Conference because Yorba Linda's really separated themselves from the group. Yeah. Villa Park's got a win over Orange as well, and so I like the Spartans to take this one.
Okay, I'm also picking Villa Park. This game is at Tustin High School, where I know Foothill usually plays quite well.
Yep.
I know it was kind of a rebuilding year for Foothill. Made some progress. This could be, and this one's also tough because the loser of this game will definitely not be 500 going into the playoffs. It's going to hurt them trying to get that at-large berth potentially. I'm not saying that they can't get the at-large berth, but when you're sub 500, it definitely hurts your chances. Mr. Fryer, let's go on now to the Trinity League. Lots at stake here on Friday night at Orange Coast College. You got JSerra looking to get to 500, force perhaps a three-way tie for third place in the Trinity League. They need a win. They need Santa Margarita to lose to St. John Bosco, and we'd have a three-way tie for third place. But JSerra really, I consider this a must win for JSerra because they need to be 500 to help out their at-large selection process. If they're not 500, some different scenarios could come back to keep the Lions out of the playoffs, which would be quite a shame because they played such a tough schedule and they have played well against, notably Mater Dei. Played them, very good earlier in the season. So who do you got in this one where you also have Orange Lutheran with a key injury perhaps at quarterback? TJ Latif got banged up last week against St. John Bosco. St. John Bosco, I'm not sure about his status. And then, of course, you got JSerra continue to play good defense coming off a 24-0 shutout. Pretty impressive victory for the Lions against Servite.
Tough one, Dan. If Latif plays, that's a huge difference. He's been really smooth when I've seen Orange Lutheran play this year. So, hopefully the young man will be ready to go. We don't get injury reports, unfortunately. And I wouldn't give me an injury report either, Robin Coach. I wouldn't tell me anything. So, but let's assume TJ's going to go. Then I got to go with Orange Lutheran this game. I like the way their offense moves the football. JSerra, like you said, defense has been really good. They held Mater Dei to 28 points, I think it was, 21 points. I think that's Mater Dei's lowest output. Am I correct? Or no, right, the Bosco game.
Bosco 17. So I think that's their second lowest.
Yeah, you're right. So I'm gonna go with the Lancers, assuming that Latif is good to go.
Okay, I'm going with JSerra because I just think this is a playoff game for them. They pretty much need to win this game to have a shot, I think, at the at-large berth. There's some wild scenarios, what I played around with. If there's a 12-team Division I bracket, it looks like JSerra is better suited for that as an at-large berth because there's a room in the bracket. Put them in Division II. If there's coming from an 8-team Division I and move down in the traditional way, it looks like if as a sub 500 team, they might not get in as an at-large team. So This is a must-win situation for the Lions. I think they're going to rise up. I think Orange Lutheran also knows that, they're in regardless. They're on that bubble to be in Division I, maybe Division II or expanded Division I. Who knows which way this thing's going? Maybe a play-in game like you suggested in your 1st and 10 this week. Who knows what could happen with Orange Lutheran? But I think the sense of urgency is on the JSerra's side, and I think they're going to win a very close game this week. So it's going to be fascinating to see how that unfolds. I'm going to be at that game on Friday at Orange Coast College and see what happens. All right, last game of the week, Sunset League. Got to go back there. A lot of good games to pick this week, but how do you not pick potentially these two top 10 teams? Speaking of the Division I playoffs, it kind of looks like Edison's headed that way. So it's Edison, Corona Del Mar, good rivalry in the Sunset League, playing for second place. Corona Del Mar, be interesting to see what division they show up. I think I did a projection that had them potentially in Division II toward the bottom of that division. But, both teams coming off rivalry victories last week, but of kind of a different variety. CDM had to rally from 14 points down to beat Newport Harbor for the 10th straight year, 28-14. David Razor played great. Edison just cruised last week, 50-0 over their rival Fountain Valley. Beat them for like the Barons for like the 18th straight year. Blocked at least three punts, had an interception return. Parker Awad, by the way, had a great game. 14 of 18, 211 yards, 5 touchdowns. One of the better quarterbacks for sure in Orange County, I think. So here you got Parker Awad, David Razor, who showed a lot last week, running the ball and passing the ball. Who do you got in this one, Fryer?
I like Edison in this game. Parker Awad's had a fantastic season. You know, started his football life in Mater Dei, and people get all worked up about transfers, right? But sometimes when you transfer because, you know, you transfer because it's a chance to play someplace and play someplace that's a good place to play. And that's Edison football. So, yeah, Parker, you know, I did a top 10 quarterback thing. I probably should have had Awad in there. Maybe I fired him up and he's going to throw for 6,000 yards, you know, on Friday. I fire up a lot of people, even people I meet on airplanes. But yeah, I like Edison in this game. You know, Edison's really a kind of a special football place. You know, Corona Del Mar is too. Dan O'Shea, my goodness, this is what he's done over there, making that such a big part of Orange County football landscape. And then Jeff Grady at Edison keeping going what Bill Workman and Dave White established at Edison. That's pretty hard to do. But both those guys are, you know, Coach of the Year candidates every gosh darn year, aren't they? So, but I like Edison this game, Dan. I think I like their speed on defense is really gosh darn good, and I think that could be a difference.
Yes, I'm also picking Edison this game. They'll be the second team. They're going to be in Division I, and we'll see what that looks like. You know, and you know, in a lot of ways, you know, it is a special Edison team. If they, you know, if they end up being the Sunset League runner-up, they're only lost to Los Alamitos. They have the signature win against Orange Lutheran, and it just kind of worked out that this is where they are this year, and we'll see what they can do in the playoffs. And you know, Corona Del Mar, they're going to be always, you know, they're so well coached, and they play with a lot of you know, intensity and passion.
Yeah.
So should be another good game. I'm sure you know, both teams will be fired up to you know, end the regular season, and what a regular season it's been. So we differ on two games. We differ on El Dorado-Canyon, and we differ on JSerra-Orange Lutheran. So there we go. That will be the final chapter, Fryer, for the regular season. It's been great.
Yes.
Talking with you for this is, you know, 11 weeks, including the week 0. It's been great picking games throughout the whole regular season with you.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it. It's always fun to talk football, Dan Albano.
Awesome.
I learned something every time, Dan.
Hey, likewise, as well. And, you know, we'll be back, you know, later in the playoffs. So I want to, you know, thank everybody for tuning in to our shows. Please like and subscribe the OCVarsity channel, and good luck to everybody this week in week 10. Hopefully you get in the automatic playoff berth, or you get a at large, or congrats on, you know, on a great season. So for Steve Fryer, I'm Dan Albano, and thanks for joining us on the OCVarsity Gridiron Show.